Welcome to Inspiration Health House, your go-to YouTube channel for healthy living and inspiration tips. Today, we're going to look at social anxiety. What exactly is it, the causes, symptoms, and how it can affect your personal growth. If you're new to our channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when we upload more videos. Anxiety is a normal part of our daily routine. Basically, it's the body's fight or flight ignition when faced with immense pressure or under an imminent threat. In small calculated doses, anxiety is actually a good thing, as it can spur you to take action, arouse your level of alertness, or even motivate you to solve problems. But then, there is social anxiety, also commonly referred to as social phobia. This mental disorder condition is manifested by persistent fear of being judged and scrutinized by others. Left untreated, social phobia can negatively affect your everyday interactions, work, school, relationships, and many other routine activities. If you're a person suffering from social anxiety, you might be wondering, what causes social anxiety? How does it affect my personal growth? And even if you are not living with this condition, you probably know a person you care about living with it. Either way, having an in-depth understanding of social anxiety is a worthwhile commitment. Plus, it will cultivate your empathy towards the roughly 264 million people living with social phobia around the world. And more than ever, you need a trustworthy place to inform you, which is our mission here at Inspiration Health House. In our video today, we're going to lift the veil behind social anxiety to reveal everything you need to know about this mental condition. While at it, we're also going to reveal practical tips to help you overcome it. But before we get ahead of ourselves, what exactly is social anxiety? Simply put, it is a chronic mental disorder characterized by persistent fear and irrational anxiety in certain social situations, which is largely driven by the fear of rejection, embarrassment, and negative judgment. According to a 2020 report published by the National Institute of Mental Health, it is estimated that 264 million people around the world have experienced social anxiety. In the U.S. alone, 15 million adults have dealt with this condition at some point in their lifetime, with 75% or 11.2 million experiencing their first social anxiety symptoms during childhood or in early teen years. So, what causes social anxiety? Right off the bat, there's no scientific study that has been able to conclusively determine what causes social phobia. Just like many other known health conditions, however, it may be a result of several factors, including but not limited to inherited genetic traits, traumatic experiences, upbringing, and brain structure. Let's briefly take a look at some of them. Number 1. Genetic predisposition. If you've experienced social anxiety disorder, studies have shown that there's a 30 to 40% likelihood that you will pass this genetic trait to your kids. There's ongoing research into specific genetic markers responsible for social anxiety to determine changes in the SLCGA4 gene, which helps transport the neurotransmitter serotonin. Basically, the neurotransmitter serotonin is a mood-stabilizing chemical, and inconsistent production of the same has been shown to cause social anxiety. Both excess and shortage production of serotonin have also been linked to aberrations in how the SLCGA4 gene performs, yet parents can pass these faulty genes to their children. Number 2. Brain structure. Studies on brain scans have shown that social anxiety disorder triggers hyperactivity in the amygdala, which is the brain part responsible for the body reflexes associated with threats, real or imagined. Hyperactivity in the amygdala has a domino effect on the entire body, with the most apparent symptoms being rapid heartbeat, respiratory excitement, sweaty palms, a spike in blood sugar levels, muscle tightening, and ultimately brain freeze. As a result of this avalanche, the individual's thinking and reasoning capacity come to a grinding halt. When you experience normal anxiety, your mental focus is redirected to the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex then rationally assesses whether your fear is founded on a real or perceived threat, then sends a signal to the amygdala to either react or diffuse the anxious response. If you're suffering from social anxiety, on the other hand, your prefrontal cortex continues to boost activities within the amygdala, as opposed to calming it. As a result, your brain treats even the most basic social interactions as legitimate threats, leaving little or no room for rational reflection in a bid to calm fear. Number 3. Negative upbringing. Negative parenting has been inversely linked to social anxiety disorders. Parents that lack affection, excessively exercise control, dwell too much on what others say, and are quick to judge, don't realize this, but creating a negative growing environment inadvertently sets up your children for bigger troubles later in life. As they continue growing up, kids raised in such a toxic environment may begin developing fear and mistrust for people, dragging along their self-esteem and confidence. Number 4. Traumatic experiences. Just like negative parenting, traumatic experiences have a huge potential in reinforcing the perception that the world is a dangerous and unpredictable place. This is especially the case in young kids, after discovering that the person they consider their sole caretaker is capable of engaging in harmful or selfish behavior. Before we move on to the symptoms, let's take a second to refresh our memory. We've seen that it is a chronic mental disorder that interferes with daily normal social interactions due to the fear of rejection, failure, or even embarrassment. It's caused by a confluence of factors, including brain functioning, genetic predisposition, negative parenting, post-traumatic experiences, and others. So far, so good? Great. Now let's shift gears to the symptoms of social anxiety disorder. Signs and symptoms of social anxiety disorder. A person suffering from this chronic mental condition avoids interacting with others, thinking they will do or say something embarrassing or humiliating. Key among the most prominent symptoms of social phobia include shaking, sweating, blushing, appearing anxious, and increased heart rate. Whenever possible, sufferers will try as much as possible to steer clear of their most revered situations. And in case they choose to endure the situation, they often end up developing intense distress. In children, social anxiety may manifest in the form of withdrawal, tantrums, intense crying, or freezing of the brain. Kids suffering from this condition are also less likely to acknowledge that most of the fears are unfounded, especially when away from social interactions. In particular, situations such as negotiating social challenges, participating in school activities, interacting with peers, and requesting assistance in class may pose a major difficulty for socially anxious kids and teens. If you or your little one identifies with any of these signs and symptoms for a period exceeding 6 months, chances are high that it's a case of social anxiety disorder, but you need to further consult your healthcare provider for a more accurate diagnosis. Can social anxiety affect your personal growth? Left untreated, social anxiety is severely disruptive and can completely overhaul your life as you know it. Key among the most serious complications stemming from this condition include difficulty making friends. Social anxiety makes almost all social interactions super uncomfortable. The mere thought of walking up to a stranger or even being the center of attention can be numbing, resulting in social isolation and withdrawal. And even though there's nothing wrong with being a loner, loneliness can negatively affect your personal growth and your physical health. To avoid this, you can try to identify your negative thoughts and try to challenge them. Damaged self-esteem. Although one can argue someone suffering from this mental condition didn't have high self-esteem in the first place, this social disorder reinforces the perception of being unworthy and seriously flawed. In fact, from your standpoint, you have rock-solid evidence in the form of embarrassing interactions to back up your claims. And although it may seem impossible to salvage your self-esteem, you start to build your coping skills and confidence one step at a time as you climb up your anxiety ladder. Underachiever tag. You may be the most talented and intelligent person in the room, but a limping lion never leads the herd. Maybe you are longing for that promotion at work, and so you choose the easy road of wait and see. A few weeks down the line, the newly recruited intern with the confidence you lack gets picked over you. Moral of the story? Social anxiety gives everyone around you the impression that you love being a spectator, and most importantly, that you have zero ambition. As you can see, the net effect of social anxiety amounts to self-sabotage. It makes asserting yourself extremely challenging. to the extent of thinking you're stretching the joke too far, at least from a personal perspective. In fact, living in the ever-cold Siberia without a blanket would be a much better deal for you than initiating a social interaction or being the center of focus, even when fully aware that suppressing your opinion could deny you opportunities or even lead to relationship problems. With that said, overcoming this chronic mental disorder isn't a matter of just hitting the straight and narrow path and going wherever it leads you. The key lies in gradually exposing yourself to your greatest fears and building confidence to rank up your anxiety ladder. And with the tips highlighted in our video, you shouldn't have a problem handling most of your anxiety-provoking situations. But in case you're suffering from a severe case of social anxiety, you need to talk to your healthcare provider, as you may need medication for a certain period. We would also love to hear what your key takeaways from this video are. So, be sure to give it a like and place your comments in the comments section below. And if you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to avoid missing out when we upload new videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time, here at Inspirational Health House, your home of healthy living and inspiration.